And we are recording. Sorry guys about the live not working out earlier. So we are back with a video. No fancy presentations, just the message as is. This video is basically to discuss the RHA's COVID plan. During these testing times, I understand we are a little nervous as well as tensed about what we can do to help. So we've come up with an action plan. And thank you for your suggestions that you've been sending in over the past few days. They've been really helpful. We hear you. In this video, we'll be broadly discussing a couple of questions. First is where we are today. What is the given current situation? What we can do in the coming weeks as Robin Hood Army. Third is what we can do now. And fourth, we'll wrap up with a couple of thoughts. So Neil, why don't you tell us the situation that's been around us?
Thanks everyone for your patience. And so basically the current COVID-19 situation has changed everyone's lives. This is something which affects every single person in every country across the world. Speaking of world, we'll keep this largely in English क्योंकि यहाँ बहुत लोग जिसको हम video दिखाएंगे, they might not be from our country. So we'll try to keep this in English as much as possible. Now we know that one thing, social distancing is the only proven solution and it could not be more important. Given government norms, our Robin movements are restricted and rightly so. So the Indian government today itself has announced a package of 1.75 lakh crores for the welfare of the hungry. Now, I think I'd like to be upfront about जो tension सबके मन में है ना कि should we go out and give food to those who need it most? Or should we respect and protect the community and be inside? Our plan is going to take into account both these things. Today's plan is about how 60,000 Robins across 180 cities in the world, if we act in a coordinated manner, and please let me repeat, if we act in a coordinated manner, how we can and will make a difference.
So now, just to sort of summarize what Neil said, the COVID-19 situation, very frankly, has affected everyone in every single country, where you are, where I am. And as Neil said, social distancing that everyone's been talking about has not been more important than right now. Now, Neil, can you tell us what is Robin Hood Army going to be doing in the coming weeks?
I think the one thing we need to be clear about is that सब बात कर रहे हैं about the hunger problem of people in the next week or two. This hunger problem is going to be there to stay over the next few months, probably till the end of the year. There are all these landless laborers and the people we serve. It's very unlikely, even after the government's package for 3 months, they might get jobs back. And this is where we step in, right? Last time, in last Independence Day, we basically served 6.32 million people across 897 villages. This year, simple baat hai, we bring Independence Day early. As soon as we are ready and as soon as we are allowed to hit the field, right? Our Independence Day mission X, and that is God knows how many people we'll serve, starts there for 30 days. We will mobilize corporates, we will mobilize media houses, we will mobilize celebrities, civic society, everyone for the largest food mobilization drive in the history of not just RHA, but also in our countries. In a few days, if we can serve 5 million people, imagine how many people we can serve in 30 days. So basically, Independence Day ko bhul jao. The Independence Day, which is Mission X, will start as soon as we are allowed to hit the field. Typically, we've seen any COVID lockdown is 2 to 6 weeks, right? So by sometime in April or May, we'll start. And then everything we've done in the past, Uber getting to drive for us, Zomato to contribute meals, Filter Copy making videos, Harvard to cover us, we'll do all that and more to make a fundamental difference to the country. So if I have to summarize in one word, what are we doing in the next coming weeks? Mission X, which is we'll figure out the many number of million meals we'll serve, but start planning for that.
Right. And that's a good point, guys. So, Mission X is something that we will take up in the next coming weeks. As soon as Neil said, we're allowed to hit the field, and the government thinks right that it is okay for the public to move out. Neil, that is great. But what do you think we can do now? Because the tension, the urgency that we are feeling now, what do you think we can do now?
So I think we can do three things. Tomorrow we are launching something called Senior Patrol. So we've got a lot of suggestions कि सबसे ज़्यादा जो vulnerable लोग होते हैं in this whole thing are senior citizens. Even if they go out to get something small, they are risk to the virus and they have the highest mortality rate. So what we are launching is basically an online form. We have Robins across every neighborhood in the country. So if anyone signs up and they say that, okay, like my parents or my uncle or my grandparents are living in another city and they need help with their provisions or their medicines, we'll connect them directly to the local Robin. And if it's possible, they will basically get the food and medicines and drop it at their doorstep. The second part, so the first thing is senior patrols. Second part is what I'm going to say next. Please, 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 बहुत ध्यान से सुनना. It is very, very important. We should only attempt drives in the lockdown if we do three things. So the first part is we should either partner or get collection or get permission from a local government or collector. Secondly, we should follow all safety norms, and the people we should serve should be on the verge of starvation. Right? Just going out to serve food for the sake of serving food doesn't make sense for the next 10 days. Thirdly, every Robin who should go out should be young, healthy, and not be living with senior citizens. Because if we live with them, if we go out and we're serving food, we're going to bring it back home, and then that leads to the problem. So we've got senior patrol, we've got government backed drives, and now what we are going to do is our social media team, you would have already seen they're working night and day. There'll be a lot of projects, a lot of activities which will keep you engaged for 99% of the time. Now Mission X is coming. Independence Day is coming earlier. So start talking to your team, start talking to your donors, start talking to your family, chacha, chachi, jo bhi, and try to figure out how can we basically mobilize all our food sources and all the people we serve, not just in our cities and towns, but also in the villages around us, for the largest drive our country or countries have ever seen. That's going to be Mission X. Everything we've done before, we'll do much, much more. Start preparing for that.
Right. So, just to summarize what Neil said, what can Robins do now? First is hashtag Senior Patrol, which will be launched tomorrow. It is an online form that will be circulated. Any Robins or non Robins who have the elderly or aged people living in a city where they don't have a support network, they don't have their children or they don't have their relatives, who can go out and get them essentials. Robins will try their best to make sure that they have the essentials they need without having to move out. The whole idea behind this is that senior citizens are considered to be most vulnerable to this contagion, and we want to prevent that. We want to prevent them from going out. So this is what Senior Patrol will be. It will be launched tomorrow. The second thing which he mentioned, which I think by far is the most important thing that we need to take away from this video as well, is that any drives that are conducted during the lockdown, if there are any drives that are conducted during the lockdown, please follow all health and safety norms, which could mean wearing gloves, wearing masks, maintaining that social distance, maintaining contactless distribution, and also 100% doing it under the law, making sure you have the required government permissions and you have the support of the local communities. And lastly, that you're not doing it in groups of 20 and 30 and restricting it to 2 and 3. The Robins who conduct these drives have to be under 30, they have to be healthy, they have to have no underlying medical conditions, they shouldn't be staying at home with people who are vulnerable to the disease. Please, all of this that we are saying is only applicable to those who do decide to do drives during the lockdown, to people who otherwise will die if they don't get food. What we don't understand is that it's not just about giving the food, it's also about creating that risk of spreading the virus if we do decide to go out without following precautionary measures. So please, the second point is extremely important. Thirdly, to keep the 99% of us who are going to be home engaged, what Neil said is the social media team is going to be coming up with activities and tasks and updates for you to get engaged every day, so that we have something to look forward to. We are still part of the community, and we are back with a bang once Mission X launches after the lockdown is lifted up. So use this time very constructively, talk to all the donors, participants, your Robins, your corporates, and try to get them to mobilize for Mission X, which is going to come. So this
So if I quickly just share my screen,
yeah.
like it's very, very simple. Right now, let's start planning for Mission X. It will be the largest food drive in the history of our countries. And today, there are these four things: senior patrol, partnerships with the government, and social media blitz. That's it. That's the Robin Hood Army game plan for the COVID mission. And this is what we're going to stick to for the next few months.
Perfect. So this is the RHA action plan. Any other concluding thoughts you might have, Neil?
So I think very honestly, the next few months are going to be very difficult. And the one thing which we'll see, we've already seen in our Robin groups, like there are a lot of disagreements, there are a lot of like people being edgy. What we need everyone to do is be calm. We will 100% get through this, but we need to get through this together. Once we get through it, people will not just remember the pains and horrors or how much we have to suffer, but the unconditional kindness and generosity they saw from people around them. Now, what my only expectation from every single Robin is, do whatever you can to build those memories. Be that reason why everyone around you आपको देख के बोलते हैं कि अच्छा, this is why I believe in humanity. I strongly believe that like every single thing we've done over the last few years, whether it's Mission 100K, Mission 500K, Mission 1 million, Mission 5 million, it's for a reason. And that reason in my mind is clear. It is to prepare us for what we're going to do in the next few months. Focus on Mission X, be calm, focus on the doing. I have full faith in the Robins to get it done. And just watch your groups for next steps. We are always and truly 1% done.
Right. So I think with this, we end the video. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you for everything you do, and let's get to work.
Let's get to work.